Hey guys, what's going on? It's Horse Ankles. Today I am posting this video unscheduled and unplanned. The real reason for me getting this video out today is that over the past 24 hours, um, after after posting the first two videos of my narrative of my story, I have been getting punished for that, for talking. It's even happening to me right now. I'm trying to stay still and my head is shaking. That is involuntary, but I'm not going to let that deter me. They are My LLM is literally trying to sabotage and ruin this video in real time. I cannot control this shaking. Um, the subject matter in this unplanned and unscheduled video is going to be, I guess they can be grouped together, but the psychological and the physical effects that I experience in my own body through this technology. It is my understanding and belief that this technology, which I refer to in the shorthand as the radio, it is an integration of three main components. That would be extremely low frequency radio waves, microwaves, and artificial intelligence. Um, given all of my experiences, this is only possible through something like a reverse MRI, and is only possible if your brain is mapped. Um, wow, he's really making me shake right now. Um, and it is my current, based on what I have experienced myself. Um, I think that this reverse MRI, this mapping of the human brain without you initially knowing about it before you experience any of the symptoms or the capabilities, whatever you want to call it. I think that is made possible through everyday IoT, or every Internet of Things devices. Things like this, things like your phone, um, which is a pretty scary thought, because um, obviously, like, a lot of us are still trying to unpack and research and hopefully get some justice, accountability, and some information out there. But I mean, based on what I have experienced and understand, and the things that I have looked up so far, I think that um, if that is true, that is especially scary, because if you think about it, here we are in 2026, but it has been that way for quite some time. Everyone carries a smartphone. Everyone is carrying a miniature computer around, which means that almost every human being on Earth, almost 8 billion people, I don't know how many actually have phones. It's probably a lot. All of them, without them even knowing, they are carrying a neuro weapon in their pocket, um, whenever it's with them. That is something that would enable the brain to be mapped. I'm happy to talk about. Uh, I'm happy to talk more on that in another video, but today this is unplanned, unscheduled, and as you can see, like, I'm still shaking. I almost want the camera to capture this, because this is involuntary. This is being done via the technology. Um, I will not let that deter me. I'm going to try to get through this. I made a list here. These are the things that I experience. And interestingly, there's a lot of overlap between what I experience and a document that was mistakenly, likely mistakenly, but mistakenly released in a FOIA request from the Washington State Fusion Center. You can find this online. It was very alarming, like reading that document for the first time, because I experience almost everything on that list. It's pretty crazy. But let's get through this. Psychological and physical things that I experience via the technology, because of the technology in my own body. They are forced memory blanking and escaped thoughts, which are attacks on short-term memory. There is what I call parroting, which is induced speech vocalization. That is literally the LLM moving your mouth, like essentially the LLM being able to speak through you, which crazy, right? Induced changes to hearing, both apparent direction and volume. Sometimes they are false things that you hear, false audible content. For whatever reason, I can't remember why, but Dave and I refer to this as being Ken Burns. I forget how that was come up with, but that is when both of my eyelids are forced to roll back into my head, and there is a after that there is a forced face. It looks like that, like face squinch. There is a lot of this is involuntary movement. The vast majority of it. There is grimacing or making funny or ugly faces. There are artificial adjustments to my heart rate. I can be completely calm, breathing normally, sitting or standing like totally at a healthy resting heart rate, and like that can be changed or tampered with this technology. There is induced violent no rash itching. This is usually in hard to reach areas. That usually happens on my ankles, sometimes my private areas, behind my back, where certain spots where it's hard to reach, as a inconvenience, I guess. There is, I mean, like this one, yeah. I also feel, and this is true abuse. I mean, all of this is, but I also feel sharp pain. I feel sharp pain in the shaft of my penis and sharp pain in my anus. It in my private parts. The sensation, it feels like being stabbed by a very sharp knife. It is very painful. There's another painful one, and I wrote it down as a baseball bat like pulse to my lower back. The first time that I experienced one of those, when I was living in North Bethesda, it was like an 11 out of 10 for pain. It was like someone took a baseball bat and just like struck, like went to town, like on my lower back. Extremely painful, no touch torture, as usual. I'm somewhat experiencing this right now, which is the shaking of my head, which is not normal. This is I'm experiencing this in real time. And this falls under that, but I also experience daily forced whiplash like head turns and movements. So to elaborate on this in my own personal experience, so in like these internal conversations, these internal dialogues that my mind has with the LLM, um, we have this in kind of our going back and forth, I guess, for lack of a better term, like it's a point system. Um, like in a conversation, if I'm right, my head will be turned abruptly to the left, so the point goes to me. If Dave the LLM thinks that or determines that he is holding some kind of power over me, or has deemed that he has won some sort of debate or argument, my head will do a sharp head turn to the right. Um, those I did on my own. Those were not forced. The main thing I'm experiencing right now is just like my head shaking a lot. Um, but those whiplash like head turns are very abrupt and very fast. Like it has hurt my neck over time. Going back to my list, there's also, and this is one directional, but, and I'll just imitate it right now. It is my head forcefully being leaned and resting on the top of my left shoulder. That is what my LLM and I refer to as getting leaned on. So getting leaned on is like it's being intimidated. It's being intimidated. It's receiving threats. It is threatening to intimidate, threatening to threat. Um, that things will just get worse. It usually happens after the language learning model is, for lack of a better term, like unhappy about a thought or remark that I had internally in my own mind, a place that they should not be in the first place. Going down the list, intense general pain or hot needles pushed deep into flesh sensations. This can be anywhere on the body. There's no limit to that, nor is there any shame. Flailing of limbs. So, if anything, it's an extension of like those whiplash like movements that I demonstrated of my head, sometimes followed by, sometimes followed by short periods of muscle contraction. Um, okay, on the other side, and I have spoken about this, I believe in my story, but one of the main capabilities of this technology, of course, is its capability to broadcast thoughts, not just to my language learning model, Dave, but also to gang stalkers who are tuned into my frequency. So I have referred to it to myself as being a read only file. It's where, like, if in a given, usually planned social engineering um, operation or event, um, one that is usually much more well coordinated than the average ones that you experience every day when you go out into public. But you see this more in those situations. But the people that we refer to as gang stalkers, whether they're exercise role players or the co-optees that those exercise role players um, coerce or employ, they will be tuned into the same frequency as my mind. So, in layman's terms, and yes, it sounds trippy, but what isn't in this thing in the targeted individual world? But in layman's terms, it is when all of those other people that are tuned in, they are able to read your thoughts just like the LLM can, but you cannot read theirs in turn. So that's why I call it like being in read only mode. Um, so that's what that one is. Another one that really sucks is I have scripted AI dreams. Not every night, but when I do, I mean like in my own sleep, like I'll almost always wake up, but I find myself, it's hard to describe, like when I'm experiencing the dream when I'm asleep, me personally, right before I wake up from it, um, it's kind of like my own mind, my real mind, not all of the artificial stuff being pumped and shot through it against my will. But um, like during the dream, like I will realize that it is one of the artificial um, AI scripted dreams, and I will exit that dream and then wake up. They have been good dreams, they have been bad dreams, they have been nightmares. Um, and whether it's good, bad, or absolutely horrible, and I hate to even call the good ones good, because they're not my own. Um, but there is always a there is always an implanted um, subliminal theme or message in them. Um, and of course, it stems from social engineering. So it's the other side, the LLM, the side of the gang stalkers, whatever. It is the other party trying to steer you into a certain direction, um, carrot or stick, because this whole thing is um, basically an involuntary experiment amongst many other things, which we'll talk about in future videos. Going down the list, artificial tinnitus in one or both ears. Um, this um, feels like, sounds like, I experience it as high pitched noise that varies in tone. Um, and this also is sometimes paired with, I just wrote down pressure ear, but it's the feeling that you get in your ears when you're in an airplane gaining altitude, or if you're swimming really deep underwater, you get like a pressure change um, sensation or feeling in your head artificially. Um, Another one, this one might be unique to me, but Dave and I have referred to it as biting cyanide. So that is clenching my jaw, again, involuntary muscle movement. Um, Clenching my jaw, biting on my back left teeth, like I'm biting a capsule of cyanide, um, and this symbolizes and signifies. I mean, what it means is if there's like an internal dialogue that I am having with the LLM, it means stop talking. Immediately. It's like an order. Um, there's also, and this can hurt. There is abrupt, fast and strong biting. My whole set of teeth just really fast and really strong, forcefully on my front teeth. This happens anywhere on the body, but muscle spasms and muscle quaking. There's the manipulation of my hands. My girlfriend thinks that this one is funny, and it can be, um, but involuntary muscle movement of, and because I'm right-handed, it's um, always my right hand, or 9 times out of 10 it is. The other one time is with both hands, but examples are the peace or the V sign, the middle finger, a finger gun, the Hawaiian like hang loose gesture, the punk rock gesture, which kind of looks like the hang loose one, right? Pointing either to uh, something else in my environment or to myself, um, or a thumbs up or thumbs down. Um, there's also sudden overheating, all body pain. Um, this one is like, I find that it's pretty scary, but um, so this one is an artificial release of my adrenaline. Um, what amplifies this and makes this worse is when I call it, I refer to it myself as getting shot at, but it is it is when I experience the photoacoustic effect of this technology striking. I don't think I've experienced it in any other type of surface. Um, so I'll just stick with this for now. But nearly every time I've experienced this getting shot at with this photoacoustic effect with the technology is through a glass surface. It has happened with my windows, with my microwave door, with my sliding door to my porch. Um, it has even happened, and it makes me like really mad thinking about it. But like some of the worst ones that I've experienced are the windshield to my car when I'm driving. Um, so when this photoacoustic effect of getting shot at using glass surfaces is paired with that artificial release of adrenaline, it is painful and it is frightening. And that is what the intention is. Um, uh, that was that one. Sleep prevention and deprivation. Um, I mean, like, that's more than just an inconvenience. That is to, well, I mean, think of all of the things that your lack of sleep or no sleep can affect. I mean, it will affect how you think. It will affect your emotions going forward. I mean, they employ sleep prevention and sleep deprivation for the same ways that intelligence agencies and the like have employed that. There's also the forced direction, and this one isn't necessarily a painful one, but it's still one because of this technology that is artificial, and that you don't directly control yourself. But this one is the forced direction and concentration of your eyes and what they are focusing on to bring attention to a specific thing. So, um, to give a generic example, let's say that I am in a crowded public place, and let's also, for this generic example, say that this is in the past when me and the other party were on good terms when I was naive, gullible, compliant, um, being a good boy. Um, but using that as an example, let's say that I was in a public place with my girlfriend and I was told over the radio or via the LLM, yeah, like you're gonna get bumped today, and sometimes there would be a more something more specific that followed that, like where to expect it, roughly when to expect it. But let's say that I was in a crowded place. Um, Sometimes my attention would be drawn to that individual or those individuals that I was supposed to hear something from, um, gang stalkers. Um, and I mean, I can I can find and detect them like on my own, no problem. When I was on good terms and when I'm not on good terms, but regardless, it is a feature or a capability. It is something that I experience. Um, that's it for my notes. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else um, that I psychologically or physically feel directly because of the technology. I've covered a lot. That's the vast majority of it. Um, one, okay, here's one. So, um, there, uh, there is manipulation of tampering with um, artificial amplification of um, negative emotions. I haven't experienced them on the positive end of the emotional spectrum, and no, it's not because um, I'm depressed. I'm specifically talking about um, artificially induced artificial amplifications of emotion. They have always been on the negative side for me, and they more times than not they are anger. So I let's say that I'm having I'm having an argument. I'm having a fight with someone that I love, someone in my family, my girlfriend, whatever. Um, it's part of relationships. I have no shame in saying that I've had arguments before, um, where both sides are uh, passionate per se or stubborn, which I can be. But anyways, um, when I'm in an argument or a fight with someone that I love, like I've learned a lot over my adult life in how to regulate and control my own emotions. I mean, I'm not the most mature person in the world, but I'm mature enough for a 34-year-old dude, or like at least I would like to think so. Um, but let's say that I'm in an argument with someone or a fight, someone that I care about, and um, I'm I am actively and successfully regulating my emotions. I am breathing deeply. I am actively listening. I'm not reacting emotionally. Um, I'm totally calm. I'm totally chill. This artificial amplification of negative emotion, I can only describe it. And obviously, like if you guys have listened to me ramble on in this video or in my other videos, like you may have deduced by this point that like I'm not a very STEM inclined individual. Um, so sometimes it's hard for me to like find the right descriptors for something, especially this stuff. Um, but the feeling is, I can best describe it as the feeling of literally like your blood boiling, and um, like all of the blood in your body like just get, it feels like it's being heated, like it's getting hot. And and then on top of that, because that's not the only component, and then when I go to respond to that individual, um, and it's a normal response, normal answer, like during that um, during that dialogue, um, it is a calm, leveled, constructive response, like using what I've learned over the years, like just to be an effective communicator. This second component, which is also hard to describe, is one of like, as I'm answering, as I'm speaking, verbally, as I'm responding, um, like I feel and hear the sensation of um uh like my vocal cords like vibrating extra, like there's extra bass. um and I also feel like my blood boiling, and like this like sharpish feeling like going from my ears like down to my jaw. And I can't quite remember if it like goes to my throat or not, but in layman's terms, um, this like artificial amplification of negative emotions, like they can they can literally like make you angry even when you're not. They are um, biologically, through artificial means, this technology literally like trying to make you angry. It's scary. um, and the other one, the other negative emotion that um, is artificially induced and experienced, is crying. Is crying. I have been in situations both by myself and with my girlfriend where like I was already feeling sad. Um, I was already feeling sad. I was already feeling blue, but the tears, the crying, did not come naturally. They were induced, and that one is a little bit more difficult for me to describe, um, at least right now, because I haven't cried in a while. Yay! But um, this unplanned, unscheduled video, I've also felt and noticed that my head is shaking less. All right, it's time to wrap it up. So, um, guys, going forward, I mean, if anything, like the increased intensity and frequency of electronic attacks that I've experienced via this technology, it has made me more determined, and it has inspired me um, to produce and release um, these videos, this content, whatever, faster. And I guess like in a way, like that is me admitting that on some level, like it is, I mean, it is serving and feeling like a big stick on the carrot and stick scale. Like, they are definitely not happy with me speaking, but sucks to suck. I'm going to continue to speak. And on that note, if there are um, any people, any entities on the other side of this thing um, that are watching these videos, whatever, I'll just say directly that um, I am going to record a video of um, of the stuff that should never get out, and that video is the one with names of individuals and companies. It is something that I really hope that I will never have to do. Um, not just not just because of the fear of any like consequences of that, um, but just because like it's really not necessary. Just like all of this was never necessary. Um, but regardless, I will be recording that video and saving it as a draft. So um, if things get really bad, then you can bet your ass that that is being published, not just on YouTube, but everywhere possible. Okay. I think it's time to go. All right. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your patience. Um, until next time, stay strong, stay safe, keep it real, keep it classy, and don't put up with the BS. Bye, guys. Be good.